All right, so picking up where we left off last time, we had the original creators created. Okay, so Gaia came out of chaos. She then creates Uranus, her husband, son, and they have some babies together. Okay, so you can see they're very happy together. And he has a sweet star beard. I put on here Clash of the Titans, which is actually not a terrible mythology movie. Usually, I'm not a big fan of them because they're usually awful, but this one was pretty good. And ironically, though, that movie actually has no Titans in it. Okay, so their most famous babies are the Titans, and they get overthrown by them. Okay, and that's kind of what I call the bad dad cycle. Okay, that's not like a technical mythology term; that's an upchurch thing, but you're going to see it in several of the mythology to talk about. You have this series of bad dads who do bad stuff that leads to a cycle of people being overthrown. Okay, your first bad dad was Uranus. Okay, and it kind of makes sense because he was super super jealous and intimidated by his kids because they kind of had that common link because technically his kids were also his siblings, but it's weird. And so he's afraid one of them is going to overthrow them. So he does what any responsible father would do. And he says, hey, wife, mom, Gaia, I would like you to take the rest of the kids back into your womb, which I know seems super grody, but she is the planet Earth. So basically he's saying like bury the other kids, which is also not an acceptable thing to do, but that's what he wants to do. But Gaia is a good-ish mom. Like different stories might conflict on that a little bit, but she doesn't want to kill her kids. So she again does what any responsible mother would do, and she goes to her youngest son Cronus and says, "Here, I would like you to take this sickle and go kill your dad with it." And so he does. He goes like chops up his dad with a sickle, and now he is the king because he killed the former king. Okay, so you have the end, very quick end of the rule of the original creators, and now we are moving into the rule of the Titans. Now, that rule of the Titans is called the Golden Age. We'll talk about that a little bit, but we don't know why because nothing really happens during this that we get a lot of stories about. Okay, what we basically get is another continuation of the bad dad cycle because Cronus is also terrified of his children, which makes sense because he just killed his dad and became king. So he knows all they have to do is the same thing, repeat the process, and now they become king. Okay, so he does not go to his wife's sister and say, listen, kill the kids for me. He just takes matters into his own hands, or rather his own mouth. Okay, and so what he does is he just proceeds to eat his children. Okay, and so like Rhea pops out a kid, he swallows the kid. Rhea pops out a kid, he swallows the kid. A lot of people always ask me, like, how does he do this? Is it like a retractable jaw? I don't know. It's mythology. I didn't make up the stories. I'm just telling them, okay? But I know that it gets a little weird for her because she doesn't want to see this keep happening. Again, she is a good mom. And so she goes to Cronus and is like, listen, I know that you got this thing where you want to swallow the kids. And, that's just your thing. I get it. But it's weird. Like, I'm sitting here trying to have a baby and you're, like, waiting over me for your snack or whatever. So can we like do it a little bit differently this time? Like I'm about to have another son and I really would just need some me time. Okay. So, can I just go somewhere else, have this baby? I'll bring him back. We can like sandwich wrap him and everything so that you can eat him when I get back, but can I just have a little bit of space? And Cronus like, that is fine. Yeah, go ahead, do what you got to do, but bring the baby back so I can swallow him. So she does. She goes into a cave because all secret stuff in mythology happens in caves. Okay. A little spoiler for you there. Gives birth to Zeus, okay, super famous god, and then like abandons him in the cave. So I guess the good mom thing sort of fails at that point, but he's raised by, some shepherds that take care of him for a little bit. And he turns into a striking young god. But she then takes a rock, wraps it up in baby Zeus clothes, brings it to Cronus and says, here is your son. And he takes it, swallows it, doesn't ask questions, thinks that he is continuing with the cycle, okay? What he doesn't realize is how much he really is continuing the cycle, though, because Zeus grows up into a striking young god, comes up to Cronus and says, listen, I know you don't realize that I'm here because you think you swallowed me, but I am your son Zeus. And I really think this whole thing of you swallowing my brothers and sisters, not a cool deal. So this has to stop. Most stories there's different versions of this, but my favorite one is that he just like hauls up and just punches Cronus straight in the stomach, which causes Cronus to proceed to vomit up his children. Okay. So now all these freshly vomited children are standing there. And Zeus says, hey, you want to go to war with the Titans? And they're all like, yeah, let's do it. Because this weird things happens. They're swallowed as babies, okay? But when they are vomited up, because he was the Titan of Time, Cronus was the Titan of Time, they were stuck in this time lock. But when they come back up, they come up as full-grown adults. So he swallows these babies and then throws up like 6 full-grown adults. They also come out in reverse order. So the first one, who was the oldest, is now the youngest, okay, and that's Hestia, right? And so we will pick up with that next time, and we will find out how this war goes down. Have a great day, guys. Merry Christmas.